Greetings, Leonard and Bob. Well, as those names suggest, we're talking about Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan. Recently, I fell upon the idea that because I so admired both of these guys, that it would be nice to put a song together about them. Bob Dylan received the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature, what is it, 3-4 years back, and in true style he failed to come to the awards ceremony, sent somebody else, Patti Smith I think it was, who then sang one of his songs, but he didn't go. But nonetheless, he is the holder of that title, and what a prestigious title it is. For Dylan, of course, a man who's lived his entire life outside the box, he's the sort of guy who doesn't go to the ceremony like those few film stars who don't choose not to go to the Oscars. Anyway, the Oscar is one thing, but the Nobel Peace Prize, well, that's a big deal. It's a fairly substantial cash prize, and there's a lot of prestige associated with it. But I guess Dylan, he doesn't respond to prestige necessarily. He's a mysterious guy, always will be. Still actively touring, playing I think 300 concerts a year. Unimaginable at that age. And Cohen, on the other hand, well, he might also have been a worthy candidate of that prize. I mean, Cohen was a published poet and novelist. In fact, he was poet laureate of Canada long before he even became a singer. He was always a picker on the guitar, but he was only became a star with his song Suzanne when he was in his mid-30s. So he was a late bloomer. Cohen, therefore, definitely a man of literature, a man who wrote volumes of poetry throughout his life, in addition to his very poetic lyrics. So yes, there's some controversy, some debate, let's put it that way, as to who was Dylan the right winner of that prize, and might it not have been Cohen rather? Look, Dylan was certainly the more prolific songwriter. I mean, he's written hundreds of songs. Numerous of his songs were hits, not only in his own hands, but very often covered by bands. If we remember Mr. Tambourine Man, by the Byrds back in the 60s, that was the start of that trend where people covered Dylan's songs. So anyway, both highly worthy songwriters, lyricists. Not everybody's cup of tea. Personally, I've loved them both throughout my whole life. I've read a lot of their writings. I have a lot of their books, each of them. I even play some of their songs. And they always go down well with audiences. But as I said, not everybody's cup of tea. People will typically criticize Dylan for being nasally, and he doesn't have a good voice, and he can't even really sing in tune. His guitar work is pedestrian, sometimes not even in tune either. Well, I often wonder whether that wasn't a carefully cultivated image that Bob sought out, and it worked beautifully for him. So, Leonard and Bob, how to write that song? Well, it was not really clear to me whether I would write my own account of their lives, or some of the contrasts between them, or what I would do. And it kind of just came organically that I would use their lyrics and try to piece them together into some coherent format that could constitute a song. Now, if one was going to trawl each of their voluminous work to come up with lyrics that might match, that would be a vast task. So I didn't do that. And frankly, and I'm a bit cautious about when I say this kind of thing, I was guided as to what lyrics I would use. There were lyrics from each of them that I had known for a long time, many of them, and that I loved because they were more than just song lyrics. They were deeply moving, or they depicted some sort of movie scene in the head, like the song Hurricane by Dylan, for example. You can actually see it all happening. It's almost like it's a film script for a documentary that one might make about that particular those events. So yes, there were lyrics that have just resided with me, and one by one these lyrics came onto my table, onto the sheet of paper, and I mixed and matched, and in fact I still have that rough sketch of quite a few pages of songs that I would explore as possibilities, and there could have been many more lyrics than the ones I ended up with, frankly. So, I, for example, love the line from Cohen, like a child leaning out for love, you will lean that way forever. He remains Bob. Well, I've just read that line from my song. You can see that lyric isn't exactly what Cohen said, but the idea is there. So that's how I worked. I took their lyrics and then fitted them together as best I could, and I then adapted them. And sometimes I would have to introduce my own lyric, joining two of the contributions or the lyrics that I was sourcing from Dylan and Cohen. He got the prize. Well, it could have been you. Brilliant poetry, is it literature? And here it comes. Drop a coin with a blind man at the gate and forget about a simple twist of fate. Now, I would have loved to say, drop a coin into the cup of the blind man at the gate, but there wasn't enough space in the melody that I finally selected to fit that all in. So I had to do that kind of adapting. So let me play you just a bit of the guitar work. The guitar is simple, as it was in the case of both Dylan and Cohen. If you take a song like Knocking on Heaven's Door, right? 3 chords, okay, it couldn't be simpler. Brilliant song, and the lyric doesn't even really make that much sense, and it's perhaps not his best lyrical work. All Along the Watchtower, 3 chords again, or is it 4? Anyway, few chords, simple song, repeat, no chorus, no bridge, just those words. Lyrics, beautiful, even though you can't really make sense of what he's trying to say. And what he is trying to say is deeply resident in his own personal mind, and he doesn't need to reveal that to us. Cohen, well, all of his songs are extremely lyrical. Also simple guitaring, though. He was a nylon string picker. He did have that very fluid classical style of picking, which set him apart, and he always played nylon string. But anyway, I was talking about the guitar work being simple, and I struggled a bit with this because what I've come out with isn't necessarily musically my best work, I don't think, but I like it. It's okay. It's supposed to be accessible to a public. So the song, the intro and the actual verse goes over these chords. Then comes a that's the, well, let me sing you this little verse. You lived on Heathrow with Marianne. What did she think about that, Suzanne? Ever the consummate ladies' man. Hot chili peppers in the blistering sun. And then chorus, hallelujah, it's alright, hallelujah, don't think twice, hallelujah, who'll be your baby tonight? And then on and on. So that's it. The song's got that verse, 2 verses, then a chorus, and the chorus is always hallelujah, it's all right, hallelujah, don't think twice, hallelujah, who'll be your baby tonight? Well, let me just read you one verse to leave you with. I've always been fascinated by the leopard skin pillbox hat. Leopard skin pillbox hat. So, Bob in his leopard skin pillbox hat, you in rags and feathers with a Siamese cat, boots of Spanish leather, tangled up in blue. Ah, but you want it darker now, don't you? Hallelujah, etc. So check it out on SoundCloud. The version that's there is labeled demo, but I've actually accepted that as the final. It's just guitar and voice. I did double up the guitar and pan it left and right to give it some depth, but it's simple. There's not even reverb on the voice. I like it as it is. I think it matches that very, very early Dylan style when he recorded his first 8 or 10 songs on his very first album. In fact, the second one is really the one I love, where there's no tweaking, there are no overdubs. He's played the songs live. It probably took a very brief time. It would have been done in a day. All those songs, just ran them off. As I said, no overdubs. I can't even detect any reverb on his voice, so maybe this version on SoundCloud kind of emulates that. Check it out on SoundCloud and see you soon. Thank you for watching.